I was only there to see a spiral wine cellar, but there was all sorts of work going on to this property. Then I suddenly hear a noise, which sounded like propellers, and I'm thinking, what is that? And the noise gets louder and louder and louder. The best security method, you could even get a dog. I'm going to answer 8 of your questions, and if you've got any questions for future Q&As, drop them in the comments below. Let's jump straight into it. How do you increase the value of your property only by renovating? Now, I would start with the kitchen and bathroom, because that's what people look at when they're viewing a property. I would equally look at redecorating throughout, because a fresh coat of paint can go a long way to make a person look at a property in a different way. You can also consider changing the windows and doors. Upgrading the windows and doors means the next buyer doesn't have to do it, which increases your property value. Now, first impressions are key. Consider improving your house's curb appeal. Buy some plants, maybe some gravel. Spruce up the front of the property so when people drive past and come to view the property, it looks really presentable. If you want to improve the security of your property, you need to look at improved locks and doors. That's locks on windows and on your front door and back door. Consider getting secured by design. Now, that's a police approved locking system which is tried and tested. You could also consider getting external lighting, flood lighting, to hit the areas of the property that are sometimes cast into darkness. Consider having them on a sensor, so if someone walks up to the property, the lights come on. The best security method, you could even get a dog. There are a number of different foundation types. The most common two are strip and trench foundations. The next most popular is a structurally engineered foundation, which is designed by a structural engineer to meet the requirements of that specific site. That's because the foundations could be going into made ground or other unsuitable stratas. The structural engineer will design the foundation specifically for that scenario. The common mistakes that I see a DIY making when taking on an extension are that they don't plan or budget before taking on the project. Going in with no plan or understanding of how the project will run, meaning there are delays and you can let trades down at the same time, which means they haven't set themselves up for success in the first place. A DIYer can often want a project done as cheaply as possible. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but that can have implications and knock-on effects. Trying to cut corners means that work potentially needs doing twice, costing you money and time. My company, ProjectWise, supports homeowners and self-builders throughout their build with everything from project management, technical support, and answering questions. Visit the ProjectWise website to learn more. When project managing your own build, I suggest you plan. You can never plan too much. Equally, know where to get good advice. ProjectWise. Expect everything to take longer than you thought, and get a good architect. A good architect will be able to provide you detailed working drawings that you can give to a builder so he can accurately quote. The working drawings will help guide the builder as he constructs the project. What's my favourite trade? Great question. I'm a bricklayer by trade, so I'd have to say bricklaying. It comes very naturally to me, so I don't have to think too much when I'm doing it. My least favourite trade is definitely decorating. I'll do it, but I don't like doing it. Wallpapering is the worst. I'd rather pay someone else to wallpaper for me. Why did I start ProjectWise? That's a great question. I started because I saw there was a need. I was constantly getting asked questions from builders and homeowners when I was on site doing site inspections. So I set up ProjectWise because I didn't see that there was many companies offering the service that ProjectWise does. Check out the website for the full list of services we offer. Our most memorable site inspections I remember quite clearly, and both were in Oxfordshire. I remember the day quite clearly. I had a jam-packed day of inspections and I was running a little bit late. I turned up to the property and I'm waiting for the client. I look at my watch thinking, where is he? He's like 10 minutes late, knowing that I've got to get to my next inspection. Then I suddenly hear a noise, which sounded like propellers, and I'm thinking, what is that? And the noise gets louder and louder and louder. and all I see is his helicopter coming in to land, and it lands right on the lawn in front of me. The owner gets out, clicks a button, and this helicopter slides into this barn conversion that I was going to look at. This barn conversion was a glorified garage that was heated solely for the purpose of storing his helicopter. The next property in Oxfordshire was by far the best, and I bet you can't guess what this person had on their property. Leave a comment below with your suggestions of what you think it was before I tell you. On this inspection, I turned up at the electric gates and got buzzed in by the builder. There was a lot of renovation and extensions going on to this property, and the builder takes me round the back. I was only there to see a spiral wine cellar, but there was all sorts of work going on to this property. The next thing the builder said, "Have you seen what else is on the property?" I said no. The builder told me to walk into the next field, and bear in mind this property is on 50, 60 acres of land, and in this field was a private runway to land a jet. At the end of it, in the far end, was a hangar to store that jet. So this person had a private runway on their own land. Absolutely ridiculous. Don't forget to check out the ProjectWise website to learn more about how we can support you. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, why aren't you? Hit subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos.